Hey folks, I'm at Timber Hill Recreation Ground in Caterham, and I'm going to start with a climb up towards Tillingdown Farm area, down towards Woldingham Road, across the field, and I'm going to end up in Manor Park. As usual, details are in the corner of the screen now, and without further ado, I'm going to get on my way. As per usual, I will be providing details and stories from the local history as I go. And there have been some interesting finds on the research for this one. So please stay tuned to find out more. And occasionally I might ask some questions. So this is the first bit. Looks really nice through there. So this is the public footpath. It's got these kind of built-in steps. Sort of help break it down a bit actually. But it's got Jacob's Ladder vibes. See my other walks for details. I'm not out of breath already, well I am a bit. But the first reason to stop here is for something that I found on a map. So where I am now was Timbers Hill Lodge, over 100 years ago. Note that it was Timbers Hill, not Timber Hill that we know now. I found an interesting newspaper article where in 1889 there was a fire. A servant apparently lighting a fire, after the fire had lit, decided to put the lighting implement inside a closet. That set off a fire, burnt down a large chunk of the house. But it's quite interesting how they called the fire brigade in Croydon by telegram. They took an hour to get here because there was snow on the ground and they had their steamer and all that sort of thing, and they brought it under control, along with some firefighting that was done locally at the time. So it's funny what you uncover, because I was just intrigued as to what happened to that building that is no longer here now. So whilst it's quite a climb, and it's a warm, beautiful day today, because it's completely covered in shade from the trees, it's not really that taxing. Okay, so that was the climb. And we've got a footpath that goes along that way. And we're going to head up here. I don't know how much of this will come across, but we've got the A22 just up here, the Caterham bypass. Our route takes us the other side of it. In line with so many of these walks, I feel I know it, but I don't know it, if you see what I mean. I wondered if there was a route over it, but when there's a good gap, I'll go across. That's a good gap. And that's where we continue. So Wapsley's Lodge down that way. And then this feeds in that way down to the M25, Godstone, beyond. There we go. I didn't know whether there was some kind of foot tunnel underneath it, but as you saw, there wasn't. So if you follow this one, because as usual, the link will be in the description, take good care crossing there, please. I do like a country lane in the English summer. Let's get a little view here. So the A22 just behind those trees. Now this area we're approaching was originally Tillingdown Farm. It was developed in 2018-2019 time. And I found some stuff when I was doing some research. So firstly looking at the sequence, and then I'm going to freeze on one of them. So we go back to when we got the first availability of Google Maps and a history. Then About 2005, in this field, possibly over in that sort of area there in the corner, there was an aeroplane parked up. Now some said it was a Piper Cub. It may have been something else. Not clear whether there was a hangar. Someone made a reference online that it was a sort of aeroplane that wouldn't sit easily in the open weather. Could this have been a private landing strip? So that's my first question for you. Are you aware of any aeroplane activity here when it was Tillingdown Farm? The farmer was Albert Davison, and he was a racehorse trainer. There's some interesting stories if you look him up online. He died in 2011, and between 2011 and when the developers sort of acquired the land and started doing the development that we can see here as we walk round, there was a lot of urban exploration activity where people came in, took photos, took videos. And there's a YouTube site, and I'll put the link below, Abandoned UK. And I think the guy who did at least one of the videos had a connection with this area. He used to work up here. But there's some really great videos to give you a complete understanding of all the buildings that were here and so the purposes of those buildings. I like the fact that it's a modern way of documenting what went on before. So yeah, Abandoned UK on YouTube. And we've got these very nice houses all around here. And on the Google sequence, I've shown you up until we saw the aeroplane, but if we go beyond, it quite nicely shows it going from land clearance to houses and no grass, and then the more recent one, the actual grass. And I believe that this sort of area here was where the actual farmyard and possibly a hangar was located. So if you know, let me know. Answers in the comments. Possible Piper Cub. There was another name that I thought I'd written down, but I haven't in my notes, and I'm going to put the other name of the aircraft suggested on screen now. And then maybe we might get to understand the story. What a beautiful sight. Not 100% sure what bird that is. Right, I'm actually following the bridleway rather than the footpath, having double checked that. Very pretty up here. A little stone there. There's no other signpost, but Ordnance Survey tell me to walk down this way. Beautiful wildflowers over there. As mentioned before, it's been a good year for them. There we go. So we started in the valley of Caterham, climbed up those quite nice shaded steps, crossed the A22, came through the Tillingdown Farm area, and now we're going back down into a valley again, blessed with further shade. I didn't know about the shade when I was planning this, but I'm very grateful for it. There's some loose material here. I can see it being a bit of a challenge in a winter walk. If you slide down here, one of those channels that we saw on some of my winter walks, where the water must cascade down. But generally, a good quality path. It really falls away over there. So still. Very distant hum of a light aircraft. And it was very quiet up the top by the houses as well. Very pretty development there. I don't know, I'm talking quietly. I suppose you kind of don't want to spoil it, do you? Loud voices, you just want to, and the mic is going to pick it up anyway. Pause to take in that lovely landscape, sky, clouds. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Now, natural valleys such as this often lent themselves for different purposes. And 100 years ago, if I'd have tried this walk, I'd have been risking my life because it was a rifle range. And it's pretty flat up there, all the way through. Let's go a bit further into the centre and along. It says up, there's a sign up there, no public access. So I'm in the, as you can see, I'm in the crossing point here. And we are pretty much in the middle. In fact, I believe this is where there was a 500-yard marker, and the targets would have been at the end there. What a beautiful sight that is today. And it went as far back as 1,000 yards up there. So it was used extensively, probably before the First World War, but during that period, and also during the Second World War, because at Marden Park, not far from here, there was a large deployment, if you like, of Canadian forces. I believe the Canadian artillery, amongst others, were there, and they would have come up here for practice. And, you know, there were others around. There was a rifle range in Woldingham, there was one on Riddlesdown. There are references to another one in Caterham, or at least two possibly in Caterham. But I think nature really helped this one. It's quite something when you find these things on a map and then kind of bring it to life, help the proper visualization. It's served its purpose, it's been returned to nature. That would have been quite an impressive sight, and noisy one as well, I'm sure, back in the day. So the relative comfort of flat walking in the valley, now replaced by another gentle climb. What a stunning sight, those tall pine trees. I can smell them. Now, I can't put that across, obviously, in video. But if you've been out and about in the countryside, where you've got these sort of pine tree copse, or much larger, the smell is really beautiful. Look at that. It's on private land. Really something. And then the light hitting the sycamore leaves up there as well. So pretty. But yeah, I've got the added bonus of the smell, and if you know it, then you can imagine it as you're watching the video. Well, this is the spot with those beautiful trees that I saw, and I went off in that direction thinking it was where I needed to go next, but all it showed is that I was looping back on myself on that path, which is the one I came up. And I've tried a few other directions, all in this area, and I have to say I'm stumped. I really didn't expect this. This completes the year of doing these walks, and I've never had a situation where there's a laid down track that's on both the Ordnance Survey maps as a viable track, it's on the Surrey Footpaths map as a viable track, and I get up here and I've got basically a locked gate and fencing all the way along, no footpath signs, no indication of private land but you can use the footpath, nothing. And what I don't want to do, because of the warnings that I'd seen all the way on this walk and I've shared with you, it says stick to the paths. It's quite clear where there's private land, and I'm not going to go rocking up and jumping fences and looking everywhere to try and get through. So sadly I'm going to have to retrace my steps, and whilst doing that I'm going to check on the app to see if there's an alternative path that gets me roughly where I was planning to go. If not, I'm going to have to take a chunk out of this and cover it some other way and some other day. So, bit of a shame really. I wanted to end on a high. I mean, we've enjoyed some absolutely beautiful weather so far, but it's not what I intended to share. So anyway, I'm going to head back down, retrace my steps, got plenty of water and a snack bar and all that sort of stuff, and look for alternative ways back to whence I came. I came all the way back. This is the A22 again. I'll try not to sound too upset. I'm following my nose a bit because I started the walk in Timber Hill. The car is down near Marden Lodge area. A wooded path is always better than a roadside path, I guess. There was that option on the A22. So I thought, well, it's noisy, but it ain't bad. I'm not 100% sure where I'm going, and it's all part of the mystery, really. I know I'm roughly parallel with the A22, obviously, and the old A22 in Caterham. Let's just give it a go and see what happens. Oh, there we go, proper path. Well, hey, the way these pockets of light just are little dots, almost like little spotlights. Oops, quite like that. Thoughts? Aha, all is not lost. Even though this wasn't on the original plan, I'm always happy to see a water installation. And this is a covered reservoir. Let's get a little bit nearer. Ooh, lift the camera up. And there we go. Just sort of off the A22. No doubt serves many households in the Caterham Valley area. There's a little aerial view that I'll add in just for a bit more context. So I'm happier now, having seen a water installation, part of the Sutton and East Surrey Water Company. I need to do more work on water works and water treatments in terms of videos. I've got a talk on the Croydon setup and I'm going to get a video done of that soon. Well, here we go, this is the access road. Bit better view here. Well, I mean, what can you see if it's an underground reservoir? There we go. This road should work out for me, the one that I'm on now. So it's the access road for the reservoir, for the guys that need to do stuff there. But it should bring me out into Tillingdown Hill. I suppose having done one of these a month for a year now, perhaps I've been lucky. I mean, I've done the odd, you know, wrong turn and stuff, but it's just goes with the territory, literally. But I hope you've enjoyed this series. I'm not going to do them every month, but there will be other types of walk where the country features. I've got a bit of a backlog of town walk and talks and the like that I want to cover, so that's going to be my focus. The countryside walks are something I do enjoy, so it's they've not gone away forever. There we go. Oh, look. I mean, there's probably a way I could have come out over there. A22. There we go. Worth doing a little view of it. I'm sure we used to come over this way on a school-sponsored walk back in the day. It's nice through there. See the top of Wallingham, Suckham's Hill, but a lovely, lovely framing of the field there. Sets it up very nicely. Beautiful sky today. Having checked my bearings once again, this is actually Tillingdown Hill, so I will be following this all the way down. I think we're on the last bit of the main countryside walk now, so I'll say thank you very much for watching and for watching all of these country walks and indeed anything on my channel. I really appreciate it. Jump in on the comments. Next walk will definitely be more structured. It's all planned and ready to go. So stay tuned and subscribe if you haven't already. Look after yourselves and I'll see you in the next one.